Hello and welcome everyone to round number 9 here at Zenith Online Racing for the EU tier on the Sunday afternoon or evening, depending on which time zone you are in. But round number 9 is going to be coming to you from Zandvoort here in the Netherlands. Currently 15 drivers in the lobby, looking to get a few more. Hopefully we can pick up that full grid, but it does look like the drivers are beginning to ready up here tonight, and while they do that, we can look at the standings. Right now, Excel Miami leads in the Mercedes by 26 points to REL Nathan, who has gone through two name changes. He was Excel Lando, he was NWBB 999, and now he has joined Relentless and is a part of, or is going to be a part of the Relentless team, and will be now known as Relentless Nathan. So he is second in the standings for the time being. Right now, Excel Cali will lead off the previous Excel 1, 2, 3 in third place on 73 points. 2 points behind is Zenith to win it. Dylan is going to be in fifth place in the standings, just 10 points behind Cali, so 8 points behind Zenith. Barton is going to be on 55. The two racing points of JXW and Toxic MML are currently 7th and 8th, separated by one singular point on 47 and 46 respectively. The second round of Bagabones is going to be on 43, and Harry Noir out of the top 10 is going to be on 38. Beck in 11th will be on 13 points. Among Us on 10 to round out the drivers who have scored double-digit points here. And then Gin and Juice on 3. And DJ Panda, I believe, scored his first points in the EU tier last time out in Bahrain. The rest of the drivers, I want to say Smith. I can't remember exactly how he pronounced it last time. Rocco, Ashes, Falcor, Purple Squirrel, The Great Mass, and Rub. Yet to score. So the constructor standings for the time being looking like this. Mercedes on 209, leading Ferrari by, I believe that's going to be 61 points if I'm not mistaken, to Ferrari, who are on 148. Renault is going to be on 98 and Racing Point on 75. 2 points following them is going to be Red Bull on 73, and 2 points following them is going to be McLaren on 71. AlphaTauri is on 29. Alfa Romeo just on the 4, and Haas and Williams are going to be in 0. But now we have loaded into the qualifying session. 15 drivers on the grid here tonight, and it looks like it's going to be a dry qualifying session for the Netherlands Grand Prix so far. So, if you are watching, we can get underway here in qualifying. You can see the Williams driver of Rob there. His engineers or mechanics beginning to get him out there on track. A few drivers have selected the medium tires, those drivers being Janet, Beck, and JXW for the time being. But it does look like it's going to be Rob, the first driver out of the pit lane in the Williams. There is a Racing Point just coming out behind him. That might be Larkin. No, that is going to be JXW coming out on the medium combat tire. So Rob 4006 is going to be the first driver out on track here in the Netherlands. He's going to be the first driver to give us a tour here of the Zandvoort circuit. Right now, only two drivers. Now, both Ferraris now make it out onto track. I believe that's going to be, yes, Nathan and Harry Noir will be the next two drivers out on track. So it's going to be Rub, JXW, and then I think it's going to be Nathan and then Harry Noir, unless they decide to switch positions out on track. But JXW is going at quite a bit of a pace right there. Just let's see if he's going to overtake Rub here. I don't think he will, but yeah. Rob will be the first driver out onto the track. Right now has yet to score points, has only finished in 2 races. Those 2 races being Austria for round number 4 and Bahrain for round number 8 as he gets out of the way of JXW. So actually JXW is going to be the first driver to complete a lap here, hopefully. Only the one podium, 3rd place in USA, and did not start last time out in Bahrain. So he's going to be the first driver to complete a lap here. He's going to be the first driver to embark on his lap. Rob going into the pit lane, but now JXW going into turn 1, braking just before that 15-meter board, trying to take a little bit of a wide line into turn 1, trying to get the best exit possible through turn 3. Through turn 1, through turn 2, and now through turn 3 here. A little bit of a lockup there on the front left, but very, very easy to do in that very cambered turn 3. Now through the S's here in the first sector, through turn 4, now through 5. We're going to try and take the straightest line possible through 6, and now through 7, down 2 gears. For the Racing Point driver, those medium tires are not going to have the best amount of grip. And now through turn 8, almost flat, just 1 gear and chuck it in. And then now into turn 9, the hardest braking zone that you have for a while. Now into turn 10. Gonna try and get the best run possible, try and keep the most momentum possible through the apex of the corner, and then on to the first or the second DRS straight of the circuit. Now into turn 11, braking a little bit on the curb, trying to take as much curb on the apex as possible. Now through turn 12, try and get the best exit possible for the penultimate corner there. DJ Panda getting out of the way on the left side, but now into turn 13. Don't touch the curb on the inside, that could completely ruin your run. And then stay all the way to the right side for the best possible run for the straightest line to the apex of the corner. JXW 110.2 looked pretty decent of a lap there for him. Now it's going to be Ariel Nathan, second place in the championship right now. You can see staying all the way to the right side, already on the soft tires and derating, but it's going to be a 108.2. That's a great lap there from Nathan. That would have put him second. That would have put him on pole in Tier 1. He was on pole in Tier 1 on Monday night. On a 108 flat, so maybe it does look like indeed he can improve on that. Harry Noir is going to be coming into the pits, and he's going to be followed by an Alpha Tower. That's going to be back P9 for the time being, but he must have invalidated on his lap because he did not set a lap time. Jen is going to be the next driver across the line in the McLaren, 110.9, goes 7 tenths slower than JXW on the medium tires. Only 3 drivers yet to set a lap time, or to set a lap time right now. Excel Larkin on the soft compound tires has invalidated, so I think he's going to be going for another one. It was a 108.6. So that would have put him onto the front row for the time being. Dylan was on a little bit of a run of form. Goes onto a 110.2, slower than JXW, but Dylan was on the soft tires. Cali goes onto the front row, and Miami swiftly replaces him on 108.4 for Miami. He goes onto the front row. Now JXW just coming back to the pit lane there, as well as I believe that's going to be Nathan. No, that's going to be DJ Pan across the line. Must have invalidated because his lap time did not set. Burton out of the final corner now, out of turn 13, now through turn 14, is banked final corner. Very difficult to get correct in the wet conditions. Hopefully we don't have any rain here tonight. Burton 110.4 on the medium compound tires. He's going to be the third driver out of the bunch on the mediums to set that lap time. I think Beck is going to be the next driver to cross the line in the Alpha Tower, 110.5. So another driver into the 110s on the medium tires. Pretty decent there for him. Williams, I think that's going to be Rub, invalidated on his outlap, just starting is what is going to be now his first flying lap here tonight. Ooh, going into the grass, that's not what you want to be doing, especially into a very, very difficult braking zone. That is turn 1. Jinnit crossing the line once again, but it was on an off lap, or on a cooldown lap, so he's going to be going again. Both Merc coming back to the line. Cali has backed off. Miami has backed off as well, but just kept his ERS on there. The Great Masters coming to the line to start a lap. Now, let's see if there are any other drivers on laps right now. DJ Panda. No, DJ Panda is not in a lap, so I think it's going to be Rub. Purple first sector, 130.925 there for Rub. So looks to be on a pretty decent lap here tonight for the time being. 12 minutes left here in qualifying, down into turn 10, down to second gear there for Rub, trying to get that extra rotation, and now on the run towards turn 11, opening up the DRS, and now braking just at the beginning of that curb, and now into turn 11, into turn 12, dip it into second gear, and try to get the best possible exit. Short shifting to third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, just before turn 13, turning it in. Got the line pretty decent there, did Rub. He didn't use all the track, but he can use more of that in the future. Exiting the final corner, going all the way to the wall there at the top of the banking, and across the line, 110.8 for Rub, and he goes into P8. Didn't just cross the line, he's a tenth and a half up, and he finds an extra half a tenth in that final sector, 110.7 for Jinnit to win. Rub has been disqualified from the session. Interesting. There's a racing point at the end of the pits. Okay, Larkin. I'm not exactly sure what you're doing, but I will not question his ways. So yeah, next driver to cross the line, it should be Harry Noir, just coming out of turn 14, or just coming through turn 14 now in the Ferrari. Trying to match his teammate. Hopefully he can. Across the line. Goes P3 though. Pretty decent lap there. Goes 7/100ths of a second faster than Cali. And 3.5 slower than Miami. Just around 5.5 of a second behind his teammate. So not too bad there for Harry Naward. Bag of Bones is on a lap right now. Just exiting turn 14. Just about to cross the line. He's not going to be into the 108, but he is going to be in the 1 minute 10.669s. He's going to go into P9. Has a pretty decent gap between himself and Beck as well. There's a pretty decent enough gap between himself and Jinnit. The Great Mash is about to cross the line. Actually, he's going to be coming into the pits. He set a lap time of 1:11.572 on the softs and was going to be P11 for the time being. Excel Larkin just about to cross the line. So let's actually ride on board with Larkin here on the medium compound tires to set his first flying lap. Turning in very early, trying to go a little bit deep and then get the best possible exit. Third or fourth, fifth, and now sixth gear through turn 2. Down 1 gear, throw it in, and then braking as late as possible into turn 3. Down to 2nd gear, and then 3rd gear to get the traction. 4th, 5th, 6th, through turn 4. 7th gear, through turn 5, and through turn 6. You want to try and cut and make the straightest line possible. Now, into turn 7. Down 1 gear, throw it in, and get back on the throttle to push yourself. Through turn 8 now. Just past the apex, or just past the curb there. You don't want to be touching that. It can completely throw your car off. Purple first sector there for Larkin. Through turn 9, and now through turn 10. Try and use all the track possible. A little bit wide of the apex, but that means he can carry a little bit more momentum. Up to 4th gear to get the traction, opening up the DRS, and now braking into turn 11. All over the curb, on the outside, on the inside, and now through turn 12. Goes a little bit wide, but that's just to get the exit. 3rd gear to get the traction. 4th, 5th, 6th, and now into the penultimate corner here at turn 13, using all the track that he possibly can, especially on the exit. And now going to be keeping it all the way over to the right side, possibly to the middle of the track. Goes a little bit past the middle of the track, but it's not going to matter too much across the line. 108.9 there for Larkin on the medium compound tires, and we'll go 1.1 seconds faster than Harry Nawar. So a pretty decent lap there for himself, and only 4.5 tenths behind Miami there. Right now, just about to cross the line. Is that going to be Barton? Yeah, that is going to be Barton. And he goes, ooh, there's a car off in the gravel, and that is Excel Cali, who has made a mistake on his lap. JXW just, or I think that's Larkin just coming in behind him. I don't know if Larkin's on another lap. It didn't look like it considering he was derating. Yeah, but Cali off into the gravel there at turn number 7. That's not what you would have wanted from one of your soft laps. His teammate though just coming out of the pit lane now on another set of soft compound tires. Ariel Nathan just about to cross the line in the middle area in the final sector. 108.021. A good lap there from him. But unfortunately for himself, it was invalid, so it will not count. Larkin coming through the final sector, as well as Cali, but both of them are not on laps. So another driver just following them behind. That's one of the Alpha mans. I think that's going to be DJ Panda, 122YT, looking to start a lap here. Larkin comes in the pits as expected, but Cali will stay out on track and looking to do another lap here. After that back-off lap, after having that spin-off into the gravel, so those tires will not be at peak performance here for the time being. Dylan up by 6.5 tenths in the middle sector. After those first 2 sectors, let's see what he can do in the final sector. It's a 9.4, and he finds another tenth and a bit there to put himself into P4, just in front of Barton on a 109.466. And Alpha Tower just coming through the final sector. That would be the Great Mass on an outlap. Excel Miami as well, just about to start one. And there is a Ferrari just in behind them. That's going to be Ariel Nathan, who has invalidated once again. So that's going to be unfortunate for him. So now let's ride on board with Excel Miami, because he is going to be the driver who's highest up the order on a flying lap right now. I think Harry Noir is on one, just coming into turn 11 on the medium compound tires for him. But yeah, let's ride on board with Miami. Beck just out in front of there, has to get out of the way though, but that will most definitely disrupt Miami's lap there. He's the only driver on a flying lap that is in the top 5 right now. Now, dipping through turn 7. Down 1 gear, get it back on the throttle, try and carry as much speed as possible up to 7th gear just to secure that stability a little bit over the curb, but that won't hurt him too much. It was a 29-point subflex, so it was a lot faster than Larkin, but Larkin was on the mediums. Now, into turn number 10. Didn't use all the tracks that we saw Larkin do, so possibly a little bit of a mistake there for Miami, but now cutting it back to the left side for the straightest run possible down towards turn 11, braking into turn 11, into the final sector, all over the curve on the inside, as you must be here to get a pretty decent time in this final sector and to end out your lap. Fairly strong, a little bit into the grass there on the entry to turn 13, but that will help him turn in the car. Now, all the way over to the right side. Didn't use all the track on the right side, or on the left side on the exit, because he wanted to get over to the right side absolutely instantly. 108.2 there for Miami. 292, and only go 200ths of a second slower than Ariel Nathan. Has a little bit of a slide there on the exit, or at turn 1. But he's not on a flying lap. JXW on the sauce goes on to a 9.3, and he will go into P number 4. Backbones is on a lap just about to finish. His flying lap was up by 0.5 of a second. Now is up by 7.5 of a second, and will put himself into P9. He'll go into the top 10. I think Beck is on a flying lap just through the first sector. Let's see what he's able to do in this first sector in between turn 7 and turn 8. Is that where the first sector split just through turn 7? Looked pretty decent there for Beck, and then trying to use the most track possible. Up by 0.3 of a second right now, so this will put him into the low 1 minute, or the 1 minute 10s. And not good enough quite yet to make up a position with this quad lap is Ariel Nathan on another out lap. I think that's just him coming through turn 14 now. Across the middle sector split, how much Beck is going to be up? He doubled the amount of time that he found in that middle sector. So right now he could put himself pretty decently into the top 10. But let's see how he's able to finish out this lap. The Great Mass just about to cross the line. Beck, all over the curb at turn 13, and it goes wide and it validates and breaks his front wing. He was on a pretty decent lap there. Beck just puts it into the wall. That's going to be very, very unfortunate for him. Spins back on track. Has to wait for JXW though, who's going to be coming into the pit lane. So now let's get back on board with Ariel Nathan. He's going to be on a flying lap, up by 2.5 a second. It said. I think that would have been earlier on his previous flying lap. But now Ariel Nathan, a 10th, or 0.116. He's up in the first sector. Purple first sector there for the Ferrari driver. For the driver trying to chase down his championship rival in Excel Miami in the championship right now. The 26 points is the gap that separates the Mercedes and the Ferrari. But now Nathan in turn 11. Well, he's up by 1.5 exactly in the middle sector. Found a little bit more time. Purple in the middle sector there for the Ferrari. How much more marginally can he improve? Can he get into the 1 minute 7s all over the curb? It invalidates at turn 13. So unfortunate there for Nathan. Is he going to continue the lap? No, he's not. He's going to be coming into the pit lane. Speeds into the pit lane. I think someone could maybe report him for that. I don't even know, really, to be completely honest. The Great Mass is coming out of turn 14, but not going to be improving on his lap. He was 0.5 of a second down on his lap, 0.6 of a second down when crossing the line. The only other driver right now out on track is DJ Pena. He's on an out lap on the soft compound tires. Just about to start another lap, just coming through now the middle sector. The shortest sector, I do believe, out on track. But right now, championship battle. It's starting to, I say this every week, it's starting to come down, as it always is. But yeah, here comes DJ Panda now. As JXW has retired from the session, maybe he doesn't have any tires left. Obviously, only 2.5 minutes left in the qualifying session. The Great Mass and DJ Panda out on track, as well as both Mercs now, a Renault and a Ferrari. That is going to be Harry Noir. I want to say, where's Harry Noir? There is Harry Noir. He is indeed on an outlap. A Red Bull just about to leave the pit lane. That must be Dylan Twum, the only Red Bull driver here out on track. Right now, we're watching on board with DJ Panda, currently P10, right on the cusp of being outside of the top 10 and getting fresh tires here tonight. Does have a pretty decent gap to back behind him. That gap is 0.4 and 4 thousandths of a second. DJ Panda just through turn 10 there, or turn 7 there, looked pretty decent for him. As Jake, or who else retired? That's Gin and Juice. DJ Panda up by 2.5 of a second right now. So this could have put him as with Beck pretty decently into the top 10, the lower ends of the top 10, just below the top 5. I don't think he'll get into the top 5 here tonight, but looking pretty decent already is DJ Panda right now. Just about to start the final sector, and it has now started that final sector, up by 0.2 of a second right now. So this would put him on a 110.8 .90. So this could put him into P9, only gaining one position. Will this be for DJ Panda for the time being? But can he find any time in the final sector? D rating here down towards the line, 109.110.0. He lost a tenth and a half in that final sector. So now let's get on board with Excel, or with one of the Excel drivers. It's going to be Excel Cali, the first driver to cross the line, but he's not on a lap, as neither is Miami. So I think the next driver, well, Nathan's on a Dylan just exiting turn 1. Barton just coming through turn 8 now on his lap. Harry Noir just coming through turn 7. Callie not on a lap. Harry Noir is on a lap, so Callie will have to get out of the way. I think the furthest driver ahead is going to be Barton. So yeah, let's get back on board with Barton, and then we can get on board with Dylan, and then we can get on board with another driver on a flying lap for the time being. Miami and Callie are not. They looking to burn fuel. Barton only up by 2.5 hundredths of a second in the middle sector. A little bit wide through turn 11 and 12. Looked pretty messy there for Barton. Right now, P6. Oh, does the same thing Beck does, but lucky not to hit the wall. But he's not going to have time to do another lap. Has to get out of the way of Harry Noir. They're just behind. But now let's get on board with Barton just through the 11 and 12 chicane. It was purple in the middle sector. How far is he going to be up coming across the line now? We have absolutely no idea how far he is going to be up. There's a driver off on the gravel. That's Harry Noir at turn 1. He's not going to be able to complete that lap there. He goes P4 though. And right now, Larkin out on the mediums. Miami just exiting, or just going through turn 2. Ariel Nathan on a lap, just exiting or coming into the final sector. Dylan goes into 4th and will replace Harry Noir, and will almost go into the 1 minute 8. The great match just in front of Nathan here, but he was up in the middle sector. I'm not exactly sure by how much, but he was purple there in the second sector of 3. Let's see what he can do though in that third sector. Green flags in front of him. He has no competition in front of him. No yellow flags to contend with. Goes all the way to the wall. D-rating across the line. Has the DRS open. About to cross the line. 108 flat. He finds 2/10. The 2,000ths of a second. Beck goes 5th. The Alpha Tower of Great Mass is not going to be able to improve on his lap time. Larkin on the mediums, looking to find more time, but I don't think anyone's really going to be challenging him. He didn't even really necessarily have to do this lap. Finds 2/100th of a second. Jinnit from 13th improves on the softs by half a second, but wasn't enough because it wasn't validated, and it would only put him P12. One on the Mercedes is going to be Callie, a tenth and a half up in the middle sector across the line, 2/10. He finds in that final sector, and Excel Miami does not improve, was down by 2/100th of a second on his final flying lap. So that's going to be qualifying over here in the Netherlands. Ariel Nathan does another 1 minute 8 flat here in ZOR, and will take pole for the second time this week. Of week number, what would be 10 because of the break week after round 6 here for ZOR. It's a British 1, 2, 3. Ariel Nathan, Excel Miami, and Excel Larkin. Larkin going to be starting from 3rd position on the medium compound of tire. Dylan in 4th. Beck in 5th. Harry Noir in 6th. JXW, Excel Cali, Bagabones, and Barton will round out the top 10. DJ Panda, Jinnit Juice, F1, Jinnit to win at the Great Mass, and Rub are going to be the rest of the drivers outside of the top 10. Rub, unfortunately, being disqualified from the session for blocking the pit lane. You heard me, Alt Maverick. But yeah, unfortunate there for him. Yeah. So Nathan will take pole position. I can't actually look and see what pole position that is. Excel Lando. That will be his 5th pole position of the season. So not too much competition he has there for the first race here. For the first race on pole position. But yeah, we'll be starting from P1 there for him. I can begin to fill out the quality order then. While we just wait for the drivers to ready up out on track. So it was Dylan, Beck, Harry Noir, JXW, Cali, Bagabones, JXW, Cali, Bagabones, P9, and then it was Barton in P2, or P10, and then it was DJ Panda, Jinnit Juice, and then it was, I believe, Jinnit, the Great Mass. And then it was Rub, the rest of the qualifying order. But now let's get those graphics. They're up for you. There we go. Tires. Everyone in the top 12, including Excel Larkin is going to be on the soft combat tires. Janet and Rob are going to be taking the mediums, and the Great Mass will be taking soft tires here tonight to start this Grand Prix. But Ariel Nathan, for the 5th time this season, will be leading us away up at the top of the field. Can't wait to see what he can do, because I know he has some pretty decent pace here. And as I said, I can begin to fill out the rest of the order. Oh, well, the standings here. So 0-6-3 for Excel, or for Excel Nathan, Ariel Nathan. Only the top 3 were into the 1 minute hits, so I can't copy that over. I believe Miami was in the 2s. Yes, 2.92 there for Miami, and Larkin did an 8.71 there. And then we can get into the 1 minute 9.024 for Dylan. And he was the first drivers, really, out of all those super quick guys that we do have here in the EU tier. Larkin off in the grass. Interesting. There from Larkin. But yeah, so leading us away is going to be R.E.L. Nathan from pole position here tonight. Excel Miami will be just in behind him. Excel Larkin is going to be starting from the medium combat tires. He knows he has to try and get onto the alternate strategy if he wants to have a chance at beating Nathan. But now, Rob slotting into his grid position, just at the back of the grid, into P15. All the drivers have settled, and they all be fixed into their grid slots here tonight. But now it's going to be on that Pirelli board, the 5 red lights. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. Ariel Nathan will lead us away from pole position as the lights go out. Goes over to the right side of the track to cover off Excel Miami. A driver into the back of Larkin. Larkin off into the gravel there at turn 1. He's going to be dropping way down the field. Dylan, I think that's going to be back just into P3 there, followed by Dylan, and then followed by one of the Ferraris. Harry Noir, JXW, Callie, and Barton all going side by side, 2 by 2. I think Back and Bones and DJ Panda just going side by side, just in behind them as well. JXW will lead Harry Noir, Excel Callie, Barton, Back and Bones, and DJ Panda all in behind him. DJ trying to make it the position on the Renault driver of Back and Bones, but just not quite close enough to make up that one. But now Larkin trying to make the move. He got punted off at turn 1. Gina Juice trying to send it up the inside of turn 8, but not going to be quite close enough to make the move on the Racing Point driver on those medium compounded tires. He's still, even after getting shoved off at turn 1, still the highest medium runner here tonight. Nathan trying to pull away, as well as Excel Miami already breaking DRS there from Beck. Now Larkin looking to the inside of turn 11, but it's not going to be looking to make the move on DJ Panda here on the first lap of the race here in the Netherlands. It's going to be a comeback drive here from Larkin if he wants to try and challenge Nathan and Miami up at the front of the field. But yeah, Nathan, Miami stretching away up at the front of the field here after completing lap 101, 15.333 there for Nathan on the first lap, including the start. Larkin already used a pretty decent amount of ERS, but DJ Panda using even more, trying to get onto the back of Bones. As you can see, you can just look through the ERS numbers now. Nathan on 88, and so, that's back. But yeah, Nathan Miami just around the same percentage there. Now Larkin all the way up the inside of DJ Panda at turn 3. That's a daring move there from the Racing Point driver, but he knows he has to try and make up these positions. But now through the first sector, through the S's, Larkin and DJ Panda going side by side, and up towards turn 6. Larkin's going to be making the move. Oh, DJ Panda almost into the back of Larkin through turn 7. Very close there between the Alfa Romeo and the Racing Point. But now Larkin trying to get onto the back of Bones now, who looks to be struggling a little bit. He's starting to fall off the back of his teammate. There's a little bit of a gap there. It's not too big of a gap. It's only around half a second there between the two Renault drivers, but Larkin is going to have to try and take advantage of this. Back of Bones does have more ERS for the time being, but it's very difficult to save that ERS here at Zandvoort. Not many very high intensity braking zones. The only real high or hard braking zone you have is down into turn 11 and maybe down into turn 1, but turn 1 is still a pretty decently high-speed corner there. But now Larkin using his ERS on the exit at turn 14, on the exit towards the pit straight. Is he going to be looking in the inside of Bones? No, he is not. He's going to be very close, but not quite close enough there is Larkin just exiting turn 1 now, up the hill through turn 2, and then dipping down into turn 3. Is going to be making the same move he did on DJ Pennant? No, he is not. He'll stay in P10 for the time being, and now DRS will be enabled, so to be even more difficult, especially with the train of these guys in front of him. It's going to be even more difficult to make those moves. Ooh, Vagabonds looked a little bit wide there through turn 7, but he's not going to be quite close enough, is Larkin, to make the move or take advantage of that. Larkin wide of the apex at turn 8 and loses a little bit of time to Vagabonds there, but now Larkin trying to regress through turn 9 and now through turn 10, looking pretty decent. Maybe he can get a good exit, but Vagabonds will have the DRS, but now so will Larkin, but it's not going to be, or the DRS is going to negate the advantage that Larkin had for Vagabonds, and now just quite not able to make the move. But now up at the front of the field right now, Nathan Miami starting to stretch away. The gap is just about a second. Miami not within DRS range, and back nowhere near DRS range. That gap is 4.5 seconds. But now it's going to be Dylan versus Beck down towards turn 1. I think Dylan's going to have this move pretty easily. Down towards turn 1, it's going to be taking that 3rd position, but now Larkin versus Vagabonds. Vagabonds defends the inside, but Larkin all the way around the outside on the medium compounded tires. Vagabonds is going to most definitely get a better exit, and now Larkin just squeezed out there, just cannot quite make the moves yet. He's used so much ERS already. Looks up the inside, contact with Vagabonds into the back of the Renault. Goes Larkin, lucky to get away with his front wing and with the rest of his race there into turn 3. But now looking in the first sector, just cannot quite close enough. The track is too narrow for the Racing Point driver to make his move, and he already has DRS. Does Vagabonds, F1 Zenith and DJ Panda switching positions just in behind. Those two taking what's the word? Taking yeah, never mind. We'll just stop it there. But yeah, Vagabonds versus Larkin. Now, Vagabonds just doesn't quite have or just barely quite has DRS there, but Vagabonds has absolutely no ERS. But now Larkin knows that. He saw the red light flashing there down towards turn 11. Harry Noir trying to make a move on JXW. He's also very, very close to the back of the Racing Point. But now it's going to be Larkin versus Vagabonds. Vagabonds, does he have DRS? Yes, he will, but he's very, very low on overtake. You can already see that red light flashing. The Racing Point will look to the inside and go back to the outside. Dylan and Beck battling as well up front, but now it's going to be Larkin up into P9 there. Now he has the second, or the other Renault to try and close down of Barton. 1, 2, 3. He has to try and make that move. Oh, Larkin going very, very wide there at turn 3. Vagabonds looks up the inside. Larkin has the, oh my gosh, Larkin struggling for traction. You're struggling for braking grip here. And Zanfor, it's only lap 5 for the time being, but already seems to be struggling a little bit in the dirty air, trying to get back. Some of that ERS is already below 15% there. Just going into turn 8 through the apex will get a little bit of that back, but not quite too much. But now we'll try and get onto the back of Barton, onto the back of Callie, who seems to be struggling as well. Harry Noir starting to pull away a little bit, but right now this DRS train is absolutely massive. We have from 3rd all the way down to Janet in 11, so it's a massive 8-car DRS train. But Larkin right now is in the absolute midst of it. P9 trying to get a good exit, has saved up a little bit of ERS, but it's not going to be enough to make a move, I don't think, unless Barton makes a mistake here out of turn 13. But no, looked pretty decent. As Camden mentioned in the Tier 2 stream on Thursday night, turn 13, one of the most crucial corners on the circuit because it leads on to the pit straight, and Larkin just not able to use his ERS there. Crossing the line, we'll get another burst of that ERS. Barton has 65% as well to play with. Harry Noir is going to be on the back, or well, not quite on the back here of Dylan, Beck, and JXW. But Nathan up at the front of the field. 2.2 seconds is the gap between the two leaders, and Dylan 6.8 seconds up, or just in behind. Larkin now through the first sector, looking under the back of Barton, but once again just cannot get quite close enough. Beck versus JXW. That battle is also not going to be coming about quite yet. Into turn 11 here on lap 6 of the Dutch Grand Prix for the EU tier here in the, in Zenith Online Racing. JXW with a little bit of lockup there in turn 13, but it won't affect him quite too much because he does have DRS off the car in front, but now it's going to be Larkin's opportunity. You can already see using his DRS through 13 and through 14, opening up the DRS, but he's not going to be close enough once again. Barton goes to the middle of the track, but Larkin's just not quite close enough. But Callie making the move on Harry Noir, trying it around the outside of turn 1. He's going to be the inside for turn 2, and we'll make that move on Harry Noir. Harry Noir in the Ferrari, just not quite close, or just not able to defend that position against Excel Callie. He's trying to make his way up through the field, trying to assert himself in that third place in the championship, and now Larkin trying to assert himself as he is a reserve driver, but trying to make his move on Barton, trying to get high up the order as possible. Barton will defend for another lap, for another corner here, for another sector against Excel Larkin, who's one of the fastest drivers in the field, just not quite close enough to make that move. Callie versus Harry Noir once again into turn 10. Harry Noir makes a little bit of a mistake, goes a little bit wide, but now it's going to be Barton just in behind these two drivers. Larkin with DRS, but Barton with DRS as well into turn 11. Larkin braking later than Barton, is even on the medium tires, but just once again not quite close enough. And now this brings Jinnit, who's actually passed Vagabonds as well, who's showing pretty decent pace on the mediums tires now. He is trying to make the move. Vagabond seems to be struggling as well. Almost been broken from DRS by Jinnit. Jinnit, I think, might just be out of DRS. No, he will not. He'll get it. But now it's going to be Larkin aggressing on Barton. Looks to the outside. Barely alongside. Will try and break late or try and go it around the outside in the Racing Point. But Barton has to squeeze him out. Gets a terrible exit, though. And Larkin will now be up into P8 in the Racing Point. Barton just had no traction there on the exit of turn 1. Didn't use enough DRS to defend from Larkin, and Larkin got a sniff and was able to make that position like a shark. Got the sniff of blood from Barton. He knew Barton seemed to be struggling there on the exit of turn 1 and was able to make that move around the outside. But now Harry Noir, who's derating on ERS. Callie, who's almost out of DRS range to JXW and back up in front. This is Larkin's opportunity. The train is starting to split here at Larkin, or at Callie and at JXW, but now Callie trying to bring himself back within this. Harry Noir has to just stay as close as possible to Callie and keep that DRS range because he knows he can keep Larkin behind and give him a good result. Though, up at the front of the field, we do have to note Nathan, right now, 3 seconds in the lead. Dylan, 7.8 seconds behind Miami. So those two, Nathan and Miami, good friends. I know both of them are starting to run away up at the front of the field. And Dylan, just no chance at fighting those two guys. He needed something major to happen on lap 1, and that didn't happen. But now Harry Noir derating on the pit straight, and so is Larkin, the Racing Point. Joel over the back of the Ferrari, looks to the inside on the medium compound of tires. The Ferrari on the soft compound, but now Harry Noir on the outside. You'll be able to get the better exit and pulls a little bit clear there of Larkin, but Harry Noir side by side through turn 2. Now Larkin will have the inside line, but now into turn 3. Harry Noir up the inside of turn 3. Larkin trying to get the better exit, has a cutback line, and will get that position now on Harry Noir. And now Larkin starting to cut through the field, has gained a little bit of momentum with these overtakes, and now starting to put the pressure on the guys in front of him. Back derating in P4 right now. Dylan has a decent amount of ERS, but not too much. JXW very, very low on the ERS as well. Callie just around just under 20%. Larkin is on around 15. Harry Noir looking all over the back of the Racing Point now as well, trying to make that move, but just not quite close enough there into turn 10, and not really an overtaking point is there. Turn 10. Jinnit is the highest driver up out of this train with the highest amount of ERS, 50%, but just is not able to use it because look at the massive amount of train in front of him right now. Nathan up at the front of the field. If you want to talk about ERS, he is the master of keeping his ERS here in ZOR. 75% just in the exit of turn 1. Excel Miami, 30% less than Nathan has. And Dylan just derating there, going down to 6%, but Beck going down to absolutely 0. JXW doesn't have much more. Callie has the most out of all the guys right now in this train, down to Jinnit. Vagabonds finally will come into the pit lane and fit the hard tires to look to go to the end of the race. Even before that DRS train there, from 2nd down towards 9th. In position. DJ Panda, the Great Mass, and Jinnit Juice are always in a train as well. Barton has pitted, and he has gone to mediums. Vagabonds has pitted as well, and has gone to hards. And now let's get back on board with the Racing Point of JXW and the 2 Racing Points just in general. Larkin has been subsided for another lap by Excel Callie. I'm not sure if subsided is really the best word there, but has been held off by Excel Cali, and Larkin has had to use the most of his tire life here to try and get through this train, but not been quite able to, just with this beautiful helicopter cam. JXW on the back of back, but not able to quite make that move. He does have more ERS, he's quite considerably more ERS than the AlphaTauri in front, but because Beck having that DRS, who's actually almost doesn't have the DRS off of Dylan, only a few hundredths of a second will keep him within DRS range. This is JXW's opportunity, but now both of them will go into the pit lane, and now it's going to be Larkin versus Cali, the racing point of the inside, and now Larkin is going to have clean air up at the front of this train. Unless he can catch Dylan, then he won't have clean air, but he'll be pretty easy pickings there for the racing point driver. There will be Dylan, because Larkin has amazing pace right now. Has cut his way through the train. Obviously a little bit of help from Beck and JXW. JXW has gone on to softs. Beck has gone on to mediums. Interesting strategy call for those two drivers there. Not exactly sure why they're on the tires that they are on. They could go to hards and go to the end of this race, but now it's going to be Larkin to try and chase down Dylan and go up into that third position, that where he started from, but obviously punted by Beck on lap number 1. That's not what he would have wanted. Already 700ths of a second up on his personal best just in the first sector there, so a pretty decent lap already there for Larkin, but now it's going to be Janet's opportunity. Now he gets the spotlight. He's going to have the driver to make his way through the field next. Just a little bit further back, it looked like the Great Mass made a little bit of a mistake there through turn 9 and now through turn 10 on the exit, just getting into the gravel there. That's not exactly what you would have wanted. Jenna just tries around the outside, but the Great Mass will defend his position. But now look at this, Barton has jumped JXW, but JXW is going to be on the soft compound tires, and Barton is on the mediums. Vagabond's 4.4 seconds behind, but on the hard compound tires, looking to go to the end of this race. But now it's going to be Barton versus JXW. Barton needed DRS as Dylan, Harrington, Larkin, and Cali all go onto the hard compound tires. JXW comes to the right side of the circuit and will breeze past Barton down towards turn 1. Are they going to be able to undercut them? It's going to be an interesting to see if they do. JXW comes out just behind Dylan, but behind Beck. Beck was able to jump Dylan in the pit lane, so now Beck will be leading this train for 4th place, unless, well, Larkin should realistically be able to overcut these guys, but now they're gonna have to get through the traffic of the Great Mass and DJ Panda, both of them being on very, very old soft tires. Jinnit and Larkin are not going to be continuing on in front of those guys, but now it's gonna be Beck on the fresh mediums, Dylan on the fresh hards looking to go to the end, JXW on the fresh softs into turn 9, looks up the inside of the Red Bull, but not quite close enough to make that move. A little bit ambitious there from JXW, but we'll go all the way over to the right side, trying to get the best exit possible. We have a car off. Is that, I think that's Gin and Juice on the hard compound tires all the way that back through the field. But now it's going to be JXW versus Dylan. JXW is going to make that move on the soft tires, but now a little bit low on ERS. Beck trying to make his move on his AlphaTauri teammate and will be up into 6th place. Now Beck has to try and get through the traffic as quick as possible. He needs DRS here. Is Beck going to get DRS? Yes, he will. Beck will get within DRS range, but now Miami trying to undercut Nathan. But Nathan did the strategy last time on Monday. Excel Miami pit for hard tires, but now Nathan is going to be pitting for the mediums here for the hards. Nathan will be pitting for the mediums. We have position changes all the way through the field. Barton versus Cali versus Dylan. Dylan dropping so far down the field on those hard tires. That's not what he would have wanted. Now Cali will lead the hard tire runners, besides Miami, who is obviously in net 2nd place up at the front of the field. And now Cali trying to make the move on Barton. That's the next driver he has to try and get past, but now it's going to be up at the front of this train, or what was train. It's going to be Beck versus JXW on the softs, all right on the gearbox of the AlphaTauri, trying to make the move in the first sector, but not quite close enough. JXW 3.5 hundredths of a second up on his personal best. Beck goes a little bit deep into turn 9, just in the dirty air of the Alfa Romeo in DJ Panda. Beck should get DRS here unless he decides to make the move on DJ Panda down into turn 11 on the exit off turn 10, derating, but has the DRS open, looking to the inside of turn 11, but will not make that move. JXW breaks very, very late and will make up that We'll make up a ton of time there into the braking zone. Barton has gotten himself within DRS range because of the battling here. Beck just being stuck behind DJ Panda. A little bit of lock up there into turn 13. And now exiting turn 14. DJ Panda goes to the outside. Harrington Walker 3-second time penalty, the first defender. But now JXW through the middle of the AlphaTauri and the Alfa Romeo. A little bit of contact, wheel banging. JXW off into the wall and loses a complete front wing. That's so ambitious there from JXW, and he's going to be out of contention here no matter what with that damage. Now going to have to make a pit stop, but Beck will be up into P5. DJ Panda P6. Safety car. We have a full safety car here tonight. No drivers are out, but it should have been from the debris from the pit straight. What a crash. That could have been an amazing overtake. That would have been an amazing opportunity from JXW. You just saw the closing speed, but just not able to capitalize on that. No. But now Nathan, just coming through the final sector here, he's going to be the one to be able to take advantage of this pit stop. And now so will Larkin. Larkin, well, I don't think he'll be able to do that. But yeah, I think Larkin and Jinnit have to come in for hards here because they can take hards to the end of the race. Nathan has a puncture. Nathan will go into hard compound tires. I'm sure he could have taken the mediums. But yeah, he will go into hard tires. Larkin now just coming through turn 13. So is Jinnit. And now is Miami just following those guys in behind. Miami already made his pit stop, so he doesn't have to pit again. But in theory, he could. Larkin now into the pit lane. Nathan just exiting, and he does have a hard set of hard compound tires. Larkin, you can see the little bit of a band on the left side. Jinnit's going to be pitting for hards, and so is Larkin. Is Miami going to be in? No. Miami will take the track position and will go up into P2. So this is very, very good for Larkin and for Jinnit, because now they're in third and fourth. So this strategy has worked absolute wonders for them. And they could not have really hoped for much more, because you can see there, Beck just coming out, or, well, just in behind them. And Beck was the leader. He was net P4. Well, net P3 at the time. But yeah, now safety car is out. Nathan had a puncture, so he would have had to pit no matter what here. And now Miami will be P2. Larkin will be P3, and Jinnit will be P4, followed by Beck, Barton, Callie, Dylan, Bagabones, DJ Panda, Harry Nawag, The Great Mass, JXW, who pits for hard tires after getting that wing damage, Gin and Juice, and now Rob, both of them being a lap down here. So yeah, now, since we are under the safety car, I can continue my updating of the qualifying standings. So Beck on a 246. Harry Warg on a 258. Jake's Davey on a 330. Callie on a 668. Vagabond on a 682. And Barton on a 700. I believe DJ Pena was the first driver into the 1 minute 10s. Yes, he did a 1 minute 10.0. 46. As JXW is into the pits once again. Did he have a drive-through? Or no, he's pitting again. For mediums to go to the end of the race, because mediums from here, well, should be able to make it to the end. Gin and Juice on a 110.7. I believe it was 716, I want to say? Yes, 716. 793. And the Great Mass was on a 111.572. So yeah, those are the qualifying standings updated for RC, and we can get those done there. But now we're just waiting for these race results to come through, and we can get those updated as well. I can start to update my graphics for the overall standings as well. And now, actually, safety car will be in this lap. JXW has caught up to the back of the field and is going to be on fresh mediums. Nathan on fresh hards. Miami on hards. Larkin, Jinnit, all on hards. Beck, Barton on mediums, looking to go to the end of the race. I don't think they'll quite be able to make it. Callie on hards. But Dylan as well as Bag of Bones. DJ Panda, Harry Nawar on mediums. The Great Mass on hards. And JXW, Gin and Juice on mediums. Rub is going to be on hards, but a lap down are Gin and Juice and Rub. Nathan coming out of the turn 14. Not quite able. We're not going to be going quite yet. Backing up the field, you can see Larkin, the only one of the drivers out of the top 10, not leaving there. He doesn't want to get fooled there by Nathan, but now Nathan goes just before the line. Miami gets a terrible exit, and now it's going to be Larkin. Up into P2, it's going to be the fight between the two previous Excel members, the two probably the fastest drivers out on track. It's going to be Nathan versus Larkin up at the front of the field. Miami's going to P3. It's going to be P3 and going to be able to watch those two having a titanic battle, but Miami trying to get out of the back of Larkin. He's not going to be quite close enough. Beck is going to be leading these drivers in P4 and was able to jump Jinnit on the safety car restart. restart. Cali 6th, Barton 7th, Dylan 8th. Now DJ Panda and Vagabonds going side by side through the first sector. DJ Panda is going to be up into P9, and Vagabonds will be in P10 just further. Very, very close to the back of him, but now Heron Warg will get the inside of turn 7 on the exit, but not going to be quite close enough. Gin and Juice, the second offender of 3 track extensions here of Zandvoort, but now Heron Warg in P11, not quite close enough to make the move. JXW on fresh mediums, not quite close enough to make a move either. Great Mass, 13th, Gin and Juice and Rub, both a lap down. They're separated by 6 seconds between those 2 drivers, but now it's going to be Nathan versus Larkin versus Miami up at the front of the field, and all the gaps starting to spread out up at the front. Back, just barely within DRS range up at the front, but now it's going to be another train behind Dylan. It was behind Dylan last time. Now it's going to be behind Beck, unless Beck can maybe get within DRS range here after the second lap, down towards turn 11 on the third lap. After the safety car restart, Nathan leading, has broken DRS for the time being. Miami just staying in behind is he. Beck, 1.5 seconds. Yeah, there's no way he's going to be getting DRS here. But now it's going to be Beck versus Janet versus Callie versus Barton versus Dylan versus DJ Panda versus Vagabond versus Harry Noir versus JXW versus the Great Mass. All of these drivers are going to be in this train from 4th down to 13th. 9-driver train, even longer of a train than the last time. But now it's going to be Janet trying to make the move on Beck. Just not quite close enough. Janet getting all over the curves. It's not really where you want to be there out on track. Just not quite close enough to make any moves for the time being. There is Janet to win it. But Callie right on the back of Barton trying to get a good exit out of turn 10, but not going to get that because Barton got a better exit. I'm not exactly sure how. Maybe use a little bit of ERS when is able to do that. But Nathan up at the front of the field right now, 1.9 seconds is the gap, and Miami is clearly within DRS range here. Not DJ Pan, back 2 seconds away from Janet. Made a mistake, and now it's going to be 1.1. He still has enough time to get back within DRS range as Nathan. Fastest lap of the race, 111.3. He's absolutely flying up at the front of the field. Used quite a decent amount of ERS, but Larkin used even more, 30% more to be if you want the facts, just not able to stay with Nathan. Nathan, this is one of his best tracks here in the Netherlands. Barton, 8 tenths behind. Now, Harry Noir and Vagabonds going side by side into turn 2. The Ferrari in the right out. The Vagabonds is going to be on the inside. Harry Noir around the outside. The Ferrari trying to make the move on the Renault around the outside of turn 3, and we'll get that move done on the Renault, on the medium compounded tires. He needs to make these moves quick and fast. But now JXW just in behind trying to make a move as well, but not going to be quite close enough to make the move. Or not going to be going. He's not going to be that aggressive to make that move. Racing point on Renault, not going to be coming to fruition for the time being. But now Harry Noir is going to have to try and close down on DJ Panda, who seems to be struggling and not able to quite keep up with the drivers in front of him. So Harry Noir will have to quickly dispatch a DJ Panda, and he's doing that around the outside of turn 10 on the exit. Harry Noir is going to be up the inside. Is the Ferrari on the Alfa Romeo, the 2 Ferrari-powered cars, but DJ Panda keeping her on the outside. Harry Noir around the outside of turn 12. The Renault of Vagabonds trying to make a move as well because DJ Panda made a mistake, got into the gravel on the exit, broke a little bit too late for his own liking, but now Harry Noir is going to be up at a P9, and now we'll have to try and close down Dylan. I'm sure he will. He has the fresher tires, but now it's going to be Vagabonds versus JXW once again. JXW over to the gravel. Oh, into the wall once again. JXW on the pit straight into the wall and has end plate damage. So unfortunate for him. Just turned on the overtake a little bit too early, and now has front wing damage and will be surely out of contention this time. But now one of the Ferrari, no, I think that's just Barton and Gin and Juice doing a little bit of battle. Gin and Juice being the lapped car, and Ghosting is on here in ZOR. But now Harry Noir, 1.3 seconds as the gap 2 done. I'm sure through the middle sector he should be able to close up. Should be able to close in that gap, but has almost no ERS. That just shows how aggressive, how quick he wanted to make those moves. Just drained all of his ERS, and is starting to be dropped now by Dylan. He has to get within DRS range quick, otherwise he'll burn out his tires. And you can already see he doesn't have the ERS to compete with these guys. It's starting to fall back. 1.3 seconds now, 1.2 seconds, just able to close it down on the exit. But now DRS, they'll start to pull away a little bit. DJ Panda, a second to Harry Noir. Backbones needs to make these moves as well. I would say JXW needs to make the moves, but now he's gone on to soft compound tires. There's no way he's getting those tires 16 laps. I'm sorry, that is not going to happen. Great Mass sticking nicely on the back of Vagabonds as well, just with that DRS. Doing pretty decently here is the Great Mass. 2 points, 2 positions out of points. I'm sure some stuff could go down and get some points here tonight. Vagabond's looking to make the move on DJ Panda, who does not have DRS and does not have any ERS, literally 0, but not quite close enough to make that move. I'm sure DJ Panda or Vagabonds will get that move done very swiftly once he can get back within DRS range. But at the front of the field, Nathan right now, 2.4 seconds is the gap to Larkin. Larkin's gap to Miami, 0.6 of a second. Back is the gap, or 3.2 seconds is the gap between Miami and Beck. Jinnen sticking nicely within DRS range. Barton 2.3 seconds off the back of these guys on the oldest set of tires out on circuit. 11 lap on medium tires. He's going to have to pit again in this race. 2.2 seconds is the gap to Jinnen. So Jinnen and Beck starting to go away up at the front of the field, but now he has Callie in tow behind him. Dylan just a little bit further back, just out of the DRS range of Callie for the time being. Harry Noir, 4.5 tenths of a second in behind. DJ Panda getting overtaken by Bag of Bones. Is the Great Mass going to be able to go through? And yes, he is. So DJ Panda there at turn 10, losing 2 positions. Oh, goes very deep into the corner, breaks it so late, almost into the back of the Great Mass, and had to cut the corner there. And now Nathan, as he said, stretching his advantage up at the front of the field. 11.6, fastest lap of the race, and is absolutely flying right now. DJ Panda picks up a 3-second time penalty, the third driver, and now it's going to be Callie versus Barton. Barton was up at the front of the train, not quite, just didn't have the pace, said Callie, and now will make his move past Barton. Oldest tires on circuit, not going to be able to compete with the fresh, those 9-lap old hard compound tires. So now, Barton, with those mediums, sticking pretty nicely, actually, within the dirty air of Callie's. Getting out of the back of Beck. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough to make a move quite yet, but he will be on a threat very, very soon. I'm sure Beck will be, especially with those tires. There's no way they're getting to the end. I'm sorry. There's just absolutely no way he's getting those to the end. Callie now has the tough task of trying to reel in Jinnit once again, as well as Larkin trying to reel in Nathan. Miami has reeled in Larkin, just not able to quite get up to the back of him and make that move quite yet. And I'm sure he likes Larkin just towing him along for the time being, but not onto the back of Nathan up at the front of the field. It's going to be Callie, Barton, Dylan, Harry Noir. Harry Noir has finally gotten within DRS range of the train in front of him. Jinnit versus Beck. Into turn 1. Jinnit will get that move done and will be up in front of the Alpha Tower now. And now he can start to pull away and secure this 4th place because he has a gap to Callie, who's the next driver on the hard tires, is the next driver who can go to the end of this race. So I'm sure he'll be feeling pretty nice and comfortable here in 4th place. We can take a quick look at the standings, I do believe. Very, very quickly. And we can read you off Jinnit's previous results. Did not finish in Bahrain, obviously, with that spin out at turn 10 and crashing into the inside barrier, but it was on a little bit of a run of form. 3rd place in Russia, 2nd place in Mexico was on that little bit of run of form. 2 podiums in a row for him. Before that, he finished 5th in Brazil, 7th in Austria, did not finish in Azerbaijan, and then 5th place in Hungary, 4th place in USA. So been pretty consistent overall, and right now, for the time being, only 2 points behind Callie coming into this race, so will be moving in front of his championship rival. Jinnit scoring 12 points, Callie only scoring 8 here tonight, so he's been moving 2 points clear of the Excel driver, of the Mercedes driver, of that driver there. But now it's going to be Miami versus Larkin. Miami has now told Larkin that, yes, I am faster, I have more ERS, save some ERS behind me, and let's start pushing onto the back at Nathan, who has pulled out a 4-second gap up at the front of the field, down to 30% ERS. I'm sure he used some of it for a push lap there. But yeah, the gaps starting to open up here towards the back end of the top 10, outside of the top 5. That is Callie. Right now, 2.3 seconds behind Beck, and it's starting to close him down just ever so slightly. Barton, 7 tenths in behind. Dylan, 6 tenths, just around 7. Harry Noir at 4. Bag of Bones, 4.1 seconds behind. Not able to compete with the pace of the guys up in front, but him and the Great Mass will be going to the end of this race. DJ Panda pits onto softs with 13 laps left to go, so he should be able pretty decently to make those tires last to the end of the race, and should be able to, I think, maybe just ever so slightly, get DRS range there. I just want to point out, Nathan's fastest lap, 111.1 on those hards, and with a little bit of DRS, was faster than the Great Mass's qualifying lap time of a 111.5. So a great lap there. From REL Nathan. JXW 2.1 seconds behind DJ Panda after the Alfa Romeo comes into the pits to fit those fresh set of fresh set of soft compound tires, looking pretty decent for him already in this race. Gin and Juice and Rub were a lap down. They're in behind Heron Award. Well, at least Gin and Juice is. Rub just a little bit further behind. Well, when I say a little bit further behind, quite a bit further behind Gin and Juice. Nathan, Miami, Larkin, those are still the top 3 of yellow flag. That's an Alpha Tower. Is that the Great Mass? The Great Mass has had a spin. As soon as I say he's having a pretty decent race, has a spin, loses front right end plate. So not what he would have wanted from his race here tonight. Harry Noir still following Dylan, still following Burton, who's still following Callie, who's starting to close down Beck and make this race a little bit more interesting. And as you can notice, it's starting to cloud over here in the Netherlands right now. Callie, 1.4 seconds is the gap to Beck. 2 seconds is the gap to Zenith. With a 6-second gap to Larkin, is trying to close that gap down as well. But Larkin is following Miami and does have DRS. Miami trying to push on, using a little bit of his overtake. Larkin shouldn't really be using his, but it's so very difficult to save DRS here in the Netherlands. They're trying to equalize out that gap to Nathan right now. Starting to close down a little bit there at the end of lap 25. But now, just looking for something really, a storyline in this race, and now it's going to be Callie closing down Beck for P5. Callie could still somewhat sacrifice this race. He could be tied on Zenith if he can make that move on Beck and start to pull away from the rest of the drivers as well. Maybe just keep Beck within DRS range, because Beck doesn't seem to quite have the pace quite yet. The Great Mass is into the pit lane. I'm sure to fit a fresh set of soft tires, yes, it's going to be. Fix that front wing. Now he should just be out behind DJ Panda and JXW. Yes, he will. He'll be quite clearly behind JXW there. So now he's going to be dropping down to 13th place in DJ Panda. Unless if something goes down, he'll be in a pretty decent position. If there is a safety car right now, P11, and can pit for a fresh set of soft tires. He doesn't have quite that much to lose. Nathan up at the front of the field, 4.1 seconds is the gap to Miami, towing in Larkin and Zenith. As I said, he was trying to close that gap down. That gap is extended by another second, so I'm sorry, Zenith there. Ooh, Callie almost up into the wall there on the exit of turn 12. That's not what he would have wanted. That was his lap to try and make the move on Beck. He was close enough. It was only half a second was the gap between those two drivers, but now Callie makes the mistake, and now he's going to be another lap stuck behind Beck. He obviously has quite a few more. He has 10 laps to make that move, but that's one more lap down the drain if he can't. So that mistake, I don't think it will, but that could cost him a pretty decent result here. His tires are, as I open my bag to get this cookie out of the bag. But yeah. Beck, that could be another. That could have been the lap that Callie was going to make the move on Beck. You can already see is right on the back of the AlphaTauri once again. Ooh, bar going a little bit wide. JXW versus DJ Panda. JXW makes the move on DJ Panda into turn 1. The Alfa Romeo is going to be on the outside of the Racing Point, but keep that momentum actually up. And great defending there from DJ Panda. Both these drivers D-rating, so JXW will have the advantage in terms of overall top speed, just because of the advantage that DRS does give to the drivers in behind who do on drivers in front of them who do not have DRS. No, Miami versus Nathan versus Miami. That gap is starting to close down ever so slightly in front of them. I don't think they'll be able to catch Nathan, but I don't think that gap is going to be opening up quite as much as it was a little bit earlier on in this race. Beck versus Callie. Callie not quite close enough into turn 1 to make that move. That gap is around half a second or 0.4 of a second going down there into the first corner onto their lap 28. Barton just in behind, just trying to stick it out for P7 here. Dylan in P8. Harry Noir just in behind him, but does have that 3-second time penalty. So right now he'll be keeping P9 because Backbones has dropped off the back of this train and has one of the oldest set of tires here. But yeah, Harry Noir right now, P9. Looks pretty decent for a decent result. I think he should be able to get to the end of this race, but a driver who's not going to be getting to the end of the race, Barton. 18 laps in the mediums right now. He did have like around 3 laps of safety car running, so if that can account to 1 lap of tire wear, he still has done 16 laps on these tires, and he has, well, 9 laps to go. There's no way he gets these tires to the end, right? Especially with that lockup, you can already tell he's starting to struggle. Ooh, that's Rob getting out of the way in front of them. But Beck versus Callie. Callie looking to the outside of turn 13. He's not going to be going for that move quite yet. He's going to save it for the pit straight. Has to get a good exit onto, out of 13 and through 14. Using his overtake. Don't make sure to use it too much. But yeah, Beck derating. Callie with the DRS and with the ERS. Not going to be able to fight that too much. Is Beck 9,000. There goes a little bit deep into turn 1. His medium tires only 2 laps fresher than Barton's, so he does, I guess, have a little bit of a tire advantage here, but it's not going to be much. Not going to mean too much. Back with a huge lockup. Barton with a huge lock. I'm sure Dylan went a little bit deep. Harry Noir still pressuring the Red Bull driver into making a mistake, and still using his ERS to try and make the move past Dylan there. But now Callie up at the front of this train, gonna try and start to pull away. Ooh, goes off into the gravel, does Callie. He makes a mistake. Beck is gonna be let back through. Barton, Dylan, and Harry Noir all are gonna be in front of Callie now. That's just a race. All of Callie's hard work there with that mistake through turn 7. An absolute blunder there for him, but now Harry Noir just in front of him. This was an opportunity to make the move on Dylan. Both of them are going to have DRS, so it's going to be straight up drag fight. It's going to be straight up drag race down towards turn 11. Harry Noir trying it around the outside though, on the brakes, on the medium tires. He has the 3-lap tire advantage and the softer tires. Now on the exit of turn 12, he's going to get that move done. But has he lost DRS now to Barton? Yes, he has. Larkin versus Miami. Larkin, it's raining! It is raining here in the Netherlands. Oh my gosh, this is absolutely kicked off. Nathan up at the front of the race. I'm sure he'll have a pretty decent clean window to come out to. He only needs it's only around 17 seconds. It's a pit stop here, so yeah, he'll be coming out in front and back behind Zenith. So it has clean air, but now it's going to be Larkin in Miami, P2, P3. Zenith in 4th has a pretty decent gap to himself, but it's going to be back. Barton, Harry Noir, who made the move on Dylan. He didn't have DRS on the previous lap, but now have to try and close down Barton. He has a little bit of ERS to use. Barton doesn't have much tire life or ERS to use, but Barton, this is an absolute masterclass from him. He didn't have to pit, and now he's going to be able to pit on the inters if the rain does come down hard enough here tonight. But now Callie right on the back of Dylan, trying to regain his positions as soon as possible because it's almost impossible to overtake here. But now, from here in the rain, JXW and DJ Panda make contact into turn 1. JXW spears off into the gravel. The Great Mass will take both of those positions. DJ Panda tried to wait for him. I don't think he got front wing damage. No, he didn't. But now it's going to be Callie versus Dylan. The same situation he was in before, but Dylan makes a mistake here. He must have out of turn 12 because Callie out of turn 10. Dylan must have made a mistake because Callie well clear going into the braking zone for turn 11. Is it going to be raining quite hard enough? Yeah, Zenith decides not to come into the pit lane, and neither do the rest of the top 4. Now it's going to be back versus Barton versus Harry Noir. Harry Noir all up to the wall there on the exit of turn 14 in the rain. It's going to be so very difficult to keep it on the track. I'm sure we're going to see a few incidents right now going into lap 31. The leaders are Nathan, who is the race leader, just coming through the middle sector split. Now Larkin and now Miami as well, just in behind him. Zenith almost 10 seconds behind those drivers, is pulling away from back, but is losing time to Larkin and Miami as well as Nathan. So I'm sure he's controlling the gap in behind to back and not too much thinking about the podium positions for the time being. Callie in behind, losing time. Well, not necessarily losing time, but not closing in the time that he would need to get back within DRS range. But Beck still leading this train of Barton and Harry Noir. All these medium runners. Ooh, Harry Noir with a little bit of snap there on the exit of turn 9. That's not what he would have wanted for his race, because now he's going to be right on the back of Barton. He has a 6-lap tire advantage on the Renault in front of him. Look how much later he can brake there into the 11-12 chicane. He does obviously have that time penalty, but he has to make these moves now while it's still somewhat dry, so he can't keep those positions in the intermediate conditions. So very difficult to overtake here in the Netherlands. And now, even with the rain, it's going to be even more difficult to overtake. But now it's going to be Harry Noir on the back of Barton. Uses a little bit of it's going to be using his overtake. Going to be using the DRS. Does the Ferrari driver into turn 1. Can he make this overtake up to the inside? He's not going to be able to make that move. He's not going to be looking up the inside of the Renault. Just didn't quite have the overspeed there on Barton. Just not able to get that move done. Into turn 1. Back. Right now, still leading this train, followed by Barton, followed by Harry Noir, and now Callie, who's just barely starting to get within DRS range, is just now got within DRS range. But Nathan up at the front of the field, starting to pull away once again from Larkin and Miami. Zenith losing quite a lot of time, but still gaining on Beck. So just trying to control that gap with Zenith while keeping it on track. Back P5, Barton P6, Harry Noir P7, Callie P8, and Dylan right on the back, while trying to stick onto the back of the Mercedes with DRS range in P9. Back of us starting to close down a little bit of time. After, in these rainy and wet conditions. But yeah, Harry Noir versus Barton now. Down towards turn 11. Harry Noir around the outside. Barton had nothing to fight with there. He only had really a little bit of ERS, a little bit of DRS, and now not quite able to make that move. And has a little bit of a slide there on the exit. You already see those medium tires are starting to fall apart for Barton. He's going to have to come into the pits very, very soon. And now it's going to be Harry Noir versus Beck. Beck will not have DRS. Harry Noir will. He does have less ERS, though, does Harry Noir. Both of them will go to 0. Both of these drivers will go to 0% on their ERS. And now you're going to see Beck lock up into turn 1. Harry Noir gets very, very close to him on the exit, just in the braking zone as well. But now it's going to be Barton P7, Callie P8 right on the back of him, looking to make the move. They're just not quite close enough to make that one. Saw a few laps ago. Actually, is it going to rain? Is it going to be able to get to the end? It's raining, but it's not raining hard enough for intermediate tires here. So Nathan can, well, all the drivers, but well, all the top four can make it to the end, I think, quite easily on those hard compound tires. But the first questions start to be asked about Beck and Barton. P5, P7, are they going to get punctures on the medium tires? Barton has already taken these tires 3 laps further than I would have expected him to. Beck with 21 laps done on those medium tires. He's taking that very, very far as well at an incredible task, but now it's going to be Harry Noir on the back of him. He's trying it back with an inside lockup, and so is Harry Noir. But Harry Noir still gains time in the braking zone just because he has so much more grip. He has a 4-lap tire advantage on Beck here tonight. Nathan leading the drivers onto lap number 34, but it's going to be Beck leading this train onto lap 34. Just out of turn 13, out of turn 14. Harry Noir on the ERS. That's brave. They're from the Ferrari driver, lucky to keep it out of the wall. But Barton made a mistake. Callie was let through. Barton is now going to be pressured by Dylan into turn 1. The Red Bull versus the Renault. On the inside is the Red Bull driver. We have an Alpha Tower spinning. That's the great mass. Dylan going to be making his way past the Renault of Barton. So Barton bag bones right now, P6 or P9, P10. And they're going to be picking up 3 points for the time being. Right now, Dylan trying to carry the load of Red Bull as JXW passes the great mass for 12th position. Racing Point not going to be scoring any points here because Excel Larkin is only a reserve. But now, Harry Noir on the inside of Beck. Not quite close enough to make that move. Harry Noir trying to salvage as many points as possible for Ferrari right now. Zenith would be taking third in the championship over Excel Cali. The gap between those two drivers, only 2 points in the championship right now. Zenith is scoring 12. And we have a yellow flag. Who's that yellow flag for? Ooh, Harry Noir might as well have been that yellow flag for, because through turn 9, on the exit of turn 9, going into turn 10, had a huge snap. That's another mistake. Or that's a mistake from Harry Noir that Callie made as well. He made a mistake on the exit of turn 12 just a few laps ago. We have a yellow flag. That must be the Great Mass retiring in the pit lane. Yeah, going on to lap 30, well, it would be, I think, 34 for him. Yeah, now it's going to be Harry Noir versus Beck. Harry Noir, what type of exit can he get? He has saved up a pretty decent amount of ERS, and he can try and challenge Beck. He's on the overtake once again through that banked final corner. Very, very dangerous in the wet, especially on dry compound tires. But now, Harry Noir versus Beck into turn 1. Is he going to be able to make the move? Looks around the outside, brakes very, very late, but the Alpha Tower are able to defend for the time being. Once again, Harry Noir just not quite able to make that move, just not quite able to get on the traction or the brakes late enough or early enough, respectively, to get that move done. Beck goes wide. Harry Noir goes a little bit wide as well. Cal goes even wider in behind him. So does Dylan. Barton in backbones. Oh wait, does Barton have damage, or is he just really, really struggling? No, he does have end plate damage. Or he does have front wing damage. That's why his teammate has caught him. So it's going to be backbones and Barton switching positions very, very soon. But it's going to be Beck, Harry Noir, Callie, all fighting for this 5th position right now. Nathan just about to cross the line for the final time. Or the penultimate time to lead us on to the final lap. He does have blue flags in front of him for JXW. Barton versus Bag of Bones, and Bag of Bones will be up into B9 there with Barton's front wing damage. He should be able to keep that position. He has a 32-second gap to DJ Penna in behind, who has done 10 laps on his soft compound tires there. Now getting back on board. Ooh, back with a massive slide on the exit of turn 12. Harry Noir going to have P5 for free, but now he's going to have to fight Callie. Does Beck have a puncture? No, he doesn't have a puncture quite yet. Does Barton? I'm surprised, actually, the driver who doesn't have a puncture yet. But yeah, see what Harry Noir. Well, Harry Noir is now clear up into 5th place, and now it's going to be Beck versus Callie. Can Callie make up any positions and try and salvage some of his race after that mistake? He got to the front of the train and then made a mistake there at turn 7. Just before it started to rain here in the Netherlands. But yeah, Nathan leading the drivers through the middle sector for the final time, and through the final sector now, just crossing that final sector split. But Beck versus Callie. Callie must have made a little bit of a mistake, because that gap has started to open up once again. But now riding on board with REL Nathan, first league race. Our first race in this league with the new name, REL Nathan, joined Relentless just this week, and now we'll be taking the win here in the Netherlands in the rainy conditions on the dry tires, and we'll be winning by a pretty decent margin there. Oh, Miami's out! Wait, Miami had a crash in the final corner. DRS is disabled now. Larkin is waiting for Miami, and we'll be giving him the position. Miami and Larkin must have had a little bit of contact there, but it's going to be Nathan versus Miami versus Larkin. Zenith coming through the final corner, and now he's going to be securing P4 as the rain comes down here in the Netherlands. Zenith spinning across the line. Harry Noir will be finishing P5. Beck will be finishing P6. Actually, Harry Wark is not going to be finishing P5 because of that time penalty. He's actually going to be finishing 6th, and Beck will be finishing P5. Callie will finish 7th. After the mistake, got turned 7. Dylan will finish P8. Vagabond should be finishing P9. Barton should be finishing P10 to round out the points positions for round number 9 here tonight. So, pretty decent race there overall. As DJ Panna is just coming through turn 13 now to finish his race. Now, that is the end of the Zenith Online Racing EU Tier Dutch Grand Prix Driver of the Day. Zenith win it from the back of the grid, 2P4. Pretty decent result. I say I'd give him Driver of the Day as well for his troubles there for Zenith. But Nathan comes out on to the rostrum and will secure his first position. We'll take Mr. Schumacher's head and we'll take the Ferrari suit up to the top step of the podium. And that's something that we've seen quite a bit here in Formula One as a whole. Miami showering him with the champagne. Nathan showering his Ferrari team compatriot with champagne as well. Nathan Larkin nowhere to be seen. But yeah, I'm sure he's celebrating that third place as well. Ariel Nathan will take fastest lap of the race on a 1:11.116. Nathan, Miami, Larkin, Jeanette, Beck, Hernawarg, Callie, Dylan, Baggy Bones, Barton, JXW, DJ Panda, Gin Juice, The Great Mass, and Rub will be your top 15 in this race. Only 4 drivers with 3-second time penalties, and only 4 drivers. Harry Warg, Bag of Bones, and then DJ Panda and Gin Juice, the 2 Alfa Romeo drivers, to get penalties for their troubles. So unfortunate for them, but yeah, they will be taking those penalties. And Harry Noir costed him that 1 position to back there. So unfortunate, very much so for him. Dylan Pegbones, Barton. And there was JX, DJ Panda, Gin and Juice, the Great Mass, and Rub. The final 2 retiring from the race, plus 3 laps. Unfortunate there for them. But yeah, now top 15 have finished the race, and we can't get these interviews underway we can't get these interviews underway. Just adding up all the points for these guys here. Yeah. Excel Lando wins another race here in Zenith Online Racing, the EU tier. Unofficial, the standings do indeed look like this. Miami will lead the championship by 18 points going into Australia next Sunday. Jinnit is going to be on 83 points, overtakes Excel Cali, who will be on 79. Dylan will be on 67. Barton will be on 56. JXW on 47, not scoring any points here tonight. So as well, Toxic MML, who decided not to show up. Harry Noir will be tied, though, with Toxic MML on 46 points. And Vagabonds will be on 45. So those 4 drivers separated by 2 points in total. Beck will be on 23. Zamankos on 10. Gin and Juice and DJ Pena, the 2 Alfa Romeo drivers, will be on 3 points there. The rest of the drivers still yet to score here in the EU tier. Hopefully we can get these drivers into the commentary booth now, unless they are not quite in here. I think Excel Miami should be, but we can add the others. Alright, so we must add Ariel Nathan, we must add Excel Miami. Who's already in here. And we can add Excel Larkin. He's already out in here, so let's add Ariel and Nathan to the party, and we can get these interviews all kicked off here tonight. Hello.
Hello.
So, yes, here we go. We can get interviews kicked off for round number 9 from the Dutch Grand Prix. So, Lando, Noob, Nathan, how's it going? 5th pole position and took the race win by a pretty decent margin. How was the race for you?
Yeah, it was okay. It was a little bit, I don't know, I guess a little bit boring, but to be fair, the track's quite nice to drive. Quali was okay. It was a lot better than Tier 1. There wasn't a lot of blocking, at least. But, yeah, I was able to pull away at the start. I think the safety car kind of helped me, because I actually got a puncture coming around the final corner under the safety
caught that on
car,
stream.
so yeah, that was a bit interesting. Tyre wear seemed a lot worse than the other day, but yeah, and then the rain at the end wasn't really ideal, but yeah, I think I suited it better than Miami, who had a little spin at the end. But
no one saw that. No one saw that.
No, we saw it.
No,
we saw it. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, definitely not as true.
I thought I'd actually binned it, to be honest.
Well, we saw you. We saw you spinning because Nathan had crossed the line, and we flipped back to you. I saw you sideways with no wing, and Larkin with half a wing. I was like, what has gone on here?
Stopped and let you back pass. I was like,
We literally both binned it at the same time.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was an okay race. So.
Yeah. I kind of want to get these interviews quick. So now to Miami. So 2nd place. You came into this race with a race win and the fastest lap gap in the championship to Nathan. I believe that gap is now down to 18 points, which is only 2nd place. So, race for you. Seemed to have pretty decent pace, was able to stick with and then be in front of Larkin for most of it. Were you happy with your pace and then the end result?
Yeah, I was happy with my pace. I was able to stay with Lando for the first 3 laps because I was absolutely dumping my ERS on the main straight. But yeah, I had a really good battle with Larkin. Really good fight. I think we had a good battle going into the first corner, and it was really close throughout the race. But at this point, it's kind of like damage limitation. If I can keep putting off seconds or even thirds, hopefully we'll have an interesting battle towards the end of the season.
Yeah, most definitely. Now on to Larkin. Again, another solid race for you. Obviously, as a reserve, not scoring any points for Racing Point in the constructors' standings. But yeah, battle with Miami. How did you see that from your point of view?
It was good fun. It was nice to race with somebody in the league that's actually a clean driver, unlike some people. So I was just trying to get through the traffic as quick as I could and up to the nice part of it. Yeah, it was a fun race.
Yeah, we did catch most of your battle with the rest of the midfield and just getting through that train of traffic. I am going to ask you one extra question for content, but yeah, what happened on lap 1? I saw you got, I think, hit from behind by Beck going to turn 1 and then off one of the gravel, or am I a bit blind?
I don't really know. I had quite a nice start. I was on obviously the outside going into turn 1, and I thought I'd abuse my ABS a little bit, so I sent it in quite deep into turn 1. So I was bringing it round the outside, and even though I'd gone in deep, someone else still managed to whack me up the arse and send me out onto the grass. So I don't know who it was, but they're a waste man. So yeah,
all I heard in the party was, "I'm off, I'm off."
Well, yeah. Anyways, that rounds out the interviews for round number 9 of the EU tier, the Dutch Grand Prix. Thank you once again, as always, being in the interview and giving a pretty decent interview, I must say. Yeah, anyways, Monday night tomorrow is going to be Australia for round number 10. Monday night is going to be tier 1, Thursday night is going to be tier 2, and then once again, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. GMT, I think that's right time zone, is going to be the EU tier race, so come check in once again. But anyways, that's been all from the Netherlands, and that's been all, folks.